Welcome everybody once again to my next video. Now this is somewhat of a follow-up video to WWE Super Showdown, as today we're going to be talking about the huge problem with Goldberg having beaten the Fiend for the Universal Championship. And I'm going to go into details why I think this was a really bad idea, a stupid idea, but I'll explain. Before I say why, I have to talk a little bit about the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Now, the Fiend gimmick is something that he debuted back in SummerSlam of last year when he won one-on-one against Finn Balor, and he made his awesome debut, and the crowd was behind him, chanting, "This is awesome." He came down to that epic entrance, and right there, I think many people knew this was something special. This was something like, wow, they got the audience right away. And that's something you don't see much of today. Today, when you debut new gimmicks, it takes time to get fan support when you suddenly change your character that drastic. And Bray Wyatt's a person that, for a long time, felt irrelevant due to booking. He once was a fan favorite, but slowly he started this whole he talked, he lost, he talked, he lost, and repeated. And it was thanks to this change that we all of a sudden, as fans, we stopped to think about that. We're like, wait a minute, this is something new. This is something incredible. So he repackaged himself, and this was all his idea. And even the company knew they got something special. They knew they had something right on. Because immediately as he destroyed Balor in essentially a squash match, it was obvious. And the reason I say it was obvious the company was behind him is because he would immediately go into a rivalry with Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. And me as a fan, as behind him as I was like, hold up. Is the company really going to push him straight to the title picture? I have no problem with that because I really liked him, but I was worried about him. I'm like, this seems a little too quick for them to do this, knowing the way they do things. But Lord and behold, the rivalry started, and they went on to have a match, a Hell in a Cell, inside a Hell in a Cell, for the Universal Championship. And when you watch that match, it has to be said, it was one of the worst matches I had seen in a long time. Imagine, I hated the main event. It left me wondering what the hell. And the reason I bring this match up in specific is very simple. The Fiend did not win the title here. He will go on to win the title at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. But that's a video for another day. The reason I'm talking about the Hell in a Cell match in specific is because even though he didn't win, Seth Rollins will hit curb stomp after curb stomp after curb stomp. Or if you want to call it blackout, it was blackout after blackout. Like, I lost count how many Seth Rollins did to the Fiend. And the Fiend just kept kicking out. And I was like, wow, they're behind him in a way where he seemed unstoppable. Seth Rollins puts guys away with this move like nothing all the time. And the Fiend, he eats him like nothing. Clearly, the day somebody beats him for the title, it'll be in a way that he has to be put down very violently. So, moving on, he won the title at Crown Jewel, and he became Universal Champion. And as champion, he will have a rivalry with Daniel Bryan, which is actually very good. In the middle of that rivalry, mid part, he feuded with The Miz in a non-title feud for whatever reason. And immediately after Daniel Bryan, we enter this next feud, which is where Papa Goldberg shows up. Because Papa Goldberg literally came out one SmackDown via live feed and announced he wanted to be Universal Champion again, and he challenged The Fiend. And I can't really even call this a proper feud, because from there, it was confirmed they had only one confrontation before their match a Super Showdown. And immediately I thought to myself, okay, I have no problem with him fighting Goldberg. It'll do him good to beat somebody like Goldberg. Goldberg's a bigger name. He's a legend, you know? He's done his time and is considered one of the greats, maybe not as a technical wrestler, but for his persona and character back in the Attitude Era and whatnot. But I was wrong. When they had their first confrontation, it ended with Goldberg putting down the Fiend with a spear. And I was like, what the hell? But I stayed quiet because I assume if they're having Goldberg put down the Fiend right now, it has to be because the Fiend is gonna win. He's gonna win, and they have to make Goldberg look like a threat. So I was all ready for this match. I thought the match could have been good, but they did the complete opposite. After a great build up in the ring, where they had this awesome face off, the match immediately went and started with a spear to the Fiend and a pin. 1, 2, he kicked out. He kicked out of one actually. And from there was a mandible claw. And then the match just repeated itself. It literally just repeated itself again. Because it went spear, spear, and spear. And then the crowd got a little booish. Because it's almost like it almost seemed like they were doing this to beat the Fiend. But even then, I still believe the Fiend was gonna win. At no point in the match did I think Goldberg was actually gonna pull this off. So the Fiend hit him with another mandible claw. After them 3 spears. And then it happened. Goldberg pulled the most devastating move in all of wrestling. Why do I say that? After eating 4 spears total, after what I said earlier, eating so many curb stomps back at Hell in the Cell, what move put the Fiend out? What wrestling move? What single finisher put him to sleep? It was the second worst ever hit jackhammer. The first being on the Undertaker when he nearly broke Taker's neck. He did the jackhammer, and I still thought the Fiend would kick out, but I was wrong. I went 1, 2, 3. WTF was my reaction. And many other people felt the same way. Out of nowhere, this part timer guy who's 53 years old at this point took the title away from the Fiend Bray Wyatt. And I get that they're trying to cater to their old fans. Because with Goldberg as champ, you bring in the old fans, people who don't watch wrestling anymore. But you're doing it. Listen, I have no problem with Goldberg coming in every once in a while and having this one-off match with Dolph Ziggler or The Undertaker, or when he did the thing with Brock Lesnar. I have no problem with that. But he should not have been champion. He did not need to win the title for this. This is just like when he beat Kevin Owens for the title. You're taking the title from a young up and comer. After busting his ass since SummerSlam, having repackaged himself, brought the fans back after people turned on him for his horrendous booking when he was just regular old Bray Wyatt, you guys just took a big dump on him. That is what you did. You killed him in one match. Now I knew the Fiend wasn't gonna be champ forever, but Goldberg was the wrong opponent to do so. He's not around anymore. You know, it would have been better if you would have had a current superstar take the title from him in a proper feud, because the Goldberg thing was not even a feud. You just come out, challenge him, have one confrontation, and then you beat him. You beat him in like 3 minutes. All this in 3 minutes. You killed him. If you would have had Roman Reigns, and I don't even like Roman Reigns, but if it would have been Roman Reigns, you could have had Nakamura, AJ Styles, all these legitimate wrestlers from now in the day who are part of the roster do it in a proper feud. It would have been okay because I did not expect the Fiend to be undefeated forever. So, what now? You butchered the Fiend's character literally in 3 minutes. You just killed all these months of hard work that the poor man has put and just butcher him. Why? What does Goldberg bring to the table as champion? Absolutely nothing. And then to make it even worse, I feel like Corey Graves doesn't even watch the show. Because Michael Cole said, I wonder if he'll be in SmackDown tomorrow. And Corey Graves actually said, of course, Cole, he'll be in SmackDown. This ain't a part-time job. Why, Corey? Because he's champ? Have you been watching Raw? The WWE champion there shows up whenever the hell he wants. It's a part-time world champion. So don't tell me, of course, like it's obvious. And then, to make it even worse, Goldberg came to SmackDown and said the words, it's not about who's last, it's about who's next. And right there I said to myself, it's official. The rivalry with The Fiend is over just like that. So who came out? Who came out after that? It was none other than Roman Reigns. And it became pretty obvious why they did this. We couldn't have Roman versus The Fiend. If you want to make Roman champion, you couldn't do it against The Fiend. You had to do it against Bill. Why? Since now you know people are gonna go up against Goldberg. Now you know Roman for sure will get cheered just because nobody wants Goldberg as champ. Is that why we did this? And to make it even worse, because it gets worse. The bastards went and announced it. Later in the night, it'll be Goldberg versus Roman. And I said it's officially over for The Fiend. He's clearly not in the title picture no more. He lost the title, no rematch. He ain't getting the title back from Bill. So we only did this to push Roman. And this is the problem with today's current WWE. It's like they want to push one guy, they forget about the rest of the locker room. Because now since the goal is to make Roman champion, the hell with The Fiend. We don't need The Fiend now. We'll have part-timer Bill take the spotlight. So we have a part-timer taking a spot from one of the current wrestlers. Like, why? Why? I'll be surprised how many times he shows up in the build-up for Mania. Which means now there is no men's elimination chamber for the number one contender spot. We just straight up gave it to Roman. That's what makes it so obvious that that's what they wanted to do. So they killed The Fiend. They had Goldberg killed The Fiend just to move on to Roman because that's the guy you want as your champion. I would have much have preferred to see Roman Reigns beat The Fiend on Mania. 1, it makes his title longer. 2, you could do it in a brutal way. Because Roman, I might not like him too much, is a decent wrestler. Unlike Goldberg, who can only hit 4 moves. And you could have done something creative with Roman beating The Fiend. Something creative that you're like, oh yeah, that would definitely put The Fiend down. You know? Not one jackhammer. Not one jackhammer. It's not like he hit 3. It's not like he hit 4. No, one jackhammer. A guy who took how many curb stomps at not WrestleMania, sorry, at Survivor Series. Again, sorry. Hell in the Cell. I'm just straight up angry. You're having a guy who is way, way past his time take a title from a youngster, a young up-and-comer, a current guy. It's not just about The Fiend. It would have been if it were anybody, in all honesty. Anybody who would have been world champion. That's why I brought up Kevin Owens earlier. When he beat Kevin Owens in 26 seconds. Was that okay? No, it wasn't okay. Another up-and-comer who's a great wrestler, he just beat in seconds. What are you gonna do in a few years when Mr. Bill can't come down anymore to do you the favor of, yo, Bill, I need you to come over here and do this one match for me so the crowd actually pops because the crowd's against us right now. We're losing our crowds. The competition's like AEW. Is that why we did this? Come on. Come on. We do not need Goldberg as champion. There are many, many wrestlers in the current roster who could be your champion. Many wrestlers. I can name quite a few. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura. Who else? Who else do we got? Roman Reigns would have been fine too. Seth Rollins. You have legitimate good talent. Andrade is one of my favorites. He's a great wrestler. Aleister Black. You have all these wrestlers who could have done the job better. This shows me you are not confident in your own wrestlers. And I don't know why. Because today's roster is full of talent who can wrestle, but they just don't know how to use them. So instead, they rely on this big name who wrestled 20-ish years ago to do the job for them. This does not feel like a bigger match to me. Goldberg could have fought Roman without the title match. And what's next for The Fiend? Well, he's gonna fight John Cena. Now, if The Fiend was already champion, couldn't he have fought John Cena for the title if we're still doing the part-timer versus wrestler gimmick that we're doing with Goldberg and Roman? In fact, you could have actually done a storyline right there where either John Cena wants to break Ric Flair's record, and he's going after The Fiend for the title because of that, or two, The Fiend goes after Cena anyway for what happened in WrestleMania 30, since that's the Fiend's gimmick, and then you do the title match there. You do 2-for-1. Nope. And then we butcher that too. Because John Cena said WrestleMania will go on without me. Fiend comes out, points at the WrestleMania sign, and leaves. Cena accepted. Is that a Fiend thing to do? The Fiend who has been attacking people for months, destroying them. Now, his new thing is, I point at the Mania sign like everybody else. And John Cena just accepted. When he just literally got done saying he will not be taking a spot from a young and up-and-comer, and he just took the man. Wow. Good job, guys. What a better storyline than what I just said. Good job, guys. This match would have felt bigger with the title on it than without the title. Roman versus Goldberg didn't need the title in it. This match would have felt much bigger. Because the groundwork was already laying down with them. It is what it is. It's too late now. The Fiend lost. He took the loss. And he moved on to challenge Cena. Wow. They continued the burial of his character. He just forgot that he lost the title. This is like when Kofi lost the title and just pretended like he was never champion, essentially. He just came out, challenged Cena. Wait, I was champion yesterday? I don't remember that. I do. The ground was already laid down. This would have been a much better idea. I still think he shouldn't have. It shouldn't be against a part-timer. Just then not be a hypocrite. But if you're gonna do this match and you're still gonna do the part-timer versus current wrestler, this would have been the better way to go. He was already champion. John Cena has a good reason to go after the title. But nope, we butchered everything. We just butcher everything, and this is what we do now. Garbage. I just hope the Fiend beats Cena at Mania, and we can get the Fiend back into the title picture against Roman or against whoever later on. But the Fiend's title reign it was not as long as it needed to be. He essentially only really had one rivalry before losing the title. Does that sound like a good champion to you? A guy like this? Would you have done this to The Undertaker back in the day? Would you have done this to Kane back in the day? I don't think you would. So why are we doing it to these guys now? Why? Why are we burying talent like this? This would have never happened to Taker and Kane back in the Attitude Era. But hey, it is what it is. This is the current era now, where we just butcher the current roster in favor of part-timers. We got 3 matches headlined by part-timers: Goldberg, Taker, and Brock. WrestleMania. And John Cena, 4 part-timers headlining WrestleMania. 4 spots that could go to legitimate wrestlers who work hard all year. But instead, their spot are taken by guys who may show up once or twice during the year, and that's it. Come on. No. Come on. There are many wrestlers who have not been champion, who've deserved to be champion. But it is what it is. I'll end it right here. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you liked. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll keep on making content for you guys. Have a good day. Till next time, guys. See ya.